Hey everybody, welcome back to the Doggone Positive Way. My name is Maria and I am your trainer and your host of this amazing best podcast in the universe about evidence-based training. This is part 5 and the last part of my interview with Barb about her service dog Bogo and service dogs in general, what it means to have a service dog, all the training that service dogs go through, and some ADA laws and regulations, and just overall care of her dog and dogs in general. So, tune in to the last part of this. Pretty sure I'm going to have Barb back on because this has been getting a lot of attention. I've been getting a lot of feedback. So, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Drop your comments in the comment section below. I want to know what you think about service dogs, and yeah, tell us about it. All right, have a great day. Have a doggone positive day, and enjoy the show. So you get them when they're about 2. So this is like kind of a short period of time.
Right, but and some people keep their dogs like longer than that. And
Yeah,
really, by the time I get a dog, it's probably going to be at least a year. So that's why I do it kind of earlier than later.
and you're already established with canine companions. So even with that, it's taking them, because of whatever circumstance or what have you, it can take you at least a year sometimes to get another dog.
Right, right. So I'd rather, I mean, there's always the opportunity, like my name will come up and maybe I'll decide, okay, I want to wait longer. Well, I just go back on the wait list.
Got you. Yeah, got you. What if you got a dog and it was like you're just not feeling it, or he's not feeling, or she's not feeling it? And I've only known you to have male service dogs, so just curious about that too.
They do have females. They do.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes they use the females a lot for breeding too. So maybe that's why there seem to be more males than females. But as far as they have females. And what else did you ask me? I'm sorry.
I totally forgot. It went.
Okay.
And actually, as you were saying that, I'm like, what else did I ask her about that whole thing that we were talking about? We'll get back to it,
Oh,
but
you said, what if I'm not feeling it? Like they match
right, yes,
me,
right.
and the thing is, they are so good at what they do that, I mean, usually they try to have two dogs at a given team training for
Mm,
person.
yeah,
That so if one dog's kind of iffy, they might try another one. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they only have one dog. But I I have no doubt, like if that ever happens, I could call them and they could come and evaluate. I mean, I'm sure with all these dogs, it had to happen somewhere. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
So,
absolutely, for sure. I also wanted to ask you if you can speak on some of the other businesses that are out there, or maybe organizations that are training service dogs. Are there any other, like, is there an accreditation that canine
there is
go through, or do you know
there
about that?
is an accreditation through International Society of Assistance Dogs Partners. It's online, and they do have like a list of requirements that they use, and that's what Canine Companions uses we have to have that test every once in a while. Um, I think mine might be coming up where the usually you'll go to the mall and you'll have to have the dog like lay down with food right in front of his face, like kibble right in front of his face, and make sure he doesn't try to get it. Or the object is, if he does try to get it, that you correct him and he doesn't get the food. um, they they step over them to make sure they don't get up, and that comes in handy, especially with the van that I use, because the people have to get really close. They have to step over the dog to be able to lock the chair in. um, Another thing they do is, like, you'll be going in the mall and all of a sudden you'll drop your leash, and make sure that the dog still stays with you, and you could if you can't get the leash back in your hand, you could ask the dog to get it for you and give it to you.
Mhm.
um all kinds of things like that. So yeah, there is now all schools. There are other schools, um but I don't know the name of them offhand.
Right.
But I've heard that there are other schools.
Yeah.
I think there's some in Tampa, and I'm sure if people got online, um, they could maybe find them.
Yeah, because I know there's such a need, and I just want people like who have disabilities and are thinking about service dogs. I want them to go to an organization or even just a regular old business or whatever that is really doing service dog training, is really doing, the things that need to go into it, and doing everything, like as far as like you're saying, like the breeding, the puppy raising, um the training after the puppy raisers, the matching. I think the matching is so important for the tasks that are done. And I know,
Sorry.
no, don't worry. I know some people who have had like um um dogs. One person in particular have had several dogs that they have paid a lot of money to get the dog trained, and they just are not. It's just
Well,
mixed
that's
over
what I
and over.
was thinking about telling you, because Canine Companions is totally nonprofit. So the thing is, some schools, if you pay for your dog, they're going to give you a dog regardless. Like, I've known situations where they've given people a dog and the person can't handle the dog that they gave them.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's something that comes into play too, because I'm not saying all schools at all, but when
Sure, I
you're
understand.
paying
Me neither. Yeah.
when you're paying for a dog, they have a vested interest, and they're a lot of money,
Yeah.
and they have a vested interest to give you a dog.
So
Like,
this is like a buyer beware kind of situation. If you have a disability or have a child or somebody in your life who has a disability and they're thinking, or you're thinking a dog would be a good option, then these are things to really think about. Like, why are you paying for the dog? What are you paying for?
right,
You
right.
know,
and
what are
and
their pitfalls?
And, like, for example, canine companions, if you go to class and they know you just can't handle having a dog, they never guarantee that you will get a dog.
Right.
So, and that's
It,
responsible.
yeah, it is. It's very responsible. Like I said before, it's almost in comparison to very responsible breeders who
Mhm.
really take that time with their dogs that they are, producing and putting out for sale, and also for the people that their dogs are going to, and the contracts. And I feel like organizations like this should really do the whole microscope investigation of the person that animal is going to. Like you said before, much like if you're adopting a child, you have to, meet this criteria for it. So
Right.
it's important because much like children, they can't talk, so they can't say, what's going on at home, type of thing,
Right.
type of
Right.
situations. So I think it protects the animals as well. But yeah, it's yeah, this is a lot of information. And like I said to you, like I think halfway through I'm like, this is going to be like a two-part or maybe a three-parter, because there is so much information out there. And we've been going for like an hour and 45 minutes, with a almost hour 38. And But I think it's so important for people to realize just all the different facets that go into raising the dog for a place like Canine Companions, what they have to do, what you're responsible for, what we want
And
people to
like
not do.
when they do breed dogs, possibly they're allowed 5 times, but most of the time they're only allowed to breed 4 times, and
So
then
no,
that's
also
hmm?
that's good to know. Also, they're not overbreeding.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I think that I like the guidelines that they're using to get some really good dogs out there. Like I said, I've known you since you had Rocky your first, so I know
Yeah.
that dogs that you're getting are really, paramount to helping you in your everyday life. And I know how active you are and stuff. So it's just really an amazing organization that does this, and the other organizations that are out there just that are really ethical,
What
and
I
use.
what I would do if I'm an average person, just wanting to get a service dog, I would ask them, are there people that have a dog through your organization that would be willing to talk with me?
That's a
Because
great idea.
then you're not just taking the person's word, but you're taking people that really have the dogs, and
Right.
they can tell you what they think and what they've experienced.
Yeah, that's a really great idea. And like references, like checking their references,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's I like that a lot. Um, how old does a person have to be um, to get a service dog from Canine Companions?
Well, now they don't allow, years and years and years ago they allowed teenagers to get their own and deal, but what they do is, if you're a child, if you're between 5 and before you turn 18, they want an adult to be with you, and they double leash the dog at the handler would have a leash, and um the the second part of the team would have a leash, so that way they can reinforce that the dog's doing okay, and things like that. So if you're not 18, you just need a second part of the team.
Okay.
Uh,
What if
and
you're nonverbal? Like,
there have been dogs that have, if you have a augmentative communication device, there have been dogs that they put the commands in, or the cues, and they have directed their dog with that.
nice.
Um, yeah. So there's definitely been nonverbal um, people that have gotten dogs. It doesn't happen as much, but it
But
does happen.
yeah, that's cool. They train for that too. That's amazing. Yeah. Well, Barb, I think that we could go on forever, and I am have to break this up into a couple different episodes, but I love it. Um,
Cool.
yeah, I think it's amazing, and I'm sure we're going to do another show because I'm sure there are going to be things that I think of and that you think of that are like, oh, damn it, we should have talked about this or that. Um, and yeah, so uh,
Do you think you might get a service dog sometime?
the tables have turned. The interviewee interviews the interviewer. More likely, yes.
Because
Uh,
they don't use the prong collars anymore.
I know, and that is another thing that I wanted to cover, but I know it'll get into like a
Yeah,
lot more
yeah,
um,
that's kind of
detail.
iffy.
But
That's kind of iffy because
what do you mean?
I mean because now they don't, and there was a lot of negativity because they did, like they most training centers abandoned it before canine companions did.
You mean aversive methods,
Yeah, like the
like
prongs and
choke
stuff.
change, pinch collars? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that it's amazing that they have taken on better methods of training. We're talking about Lima, least
Yes.
intrusive methods
Yep.
applied. And I think that, and I'm actually watching something new on Netflix. I don't know, The Mind of a Dog or something like that. And it starts out with canine companions, actually.
Oh, does
And
it?
yeah, I don't know if you have Netflix or not, but if you do, check it out.
You think it's called The Mind of a Dog?
Yeah, I'll look it up right now.
I saw the neatest thing um about people that are blind. They've come out with like a bionic eye, um and another thing, another procedure, and sometimes people can see now who have never done so before.
That's amazing. Technology is amazing.
It
Like
is.
technology is cool for like everyday people, but for me and you and for blind people, my God,
Yeah,
technology is like crucial for us, you know,
absolutely.
be able
I
to
mean,
function easily in the world today.
there was this one who, what he does, it was so amazing. He like pulls one of the people's tooth and he puts it like, I'm not sure where he put it in the body, but what happens is it grew stem cells, and then he's able to put that somehow in the eye. I mean, it was so amazing. I'll try to find it, and if I
Oh my
do,
God,
I'll,
yeah,
because it was so interesting.
that's amazing. The show is called Inside the Mind of a Dog, and it's on Netflix.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
and
Thanks.
they still are using choke chains, um, but they are using more evidence-based methods, which I was so happy to see.
Right.
Um, because because of different issues, and also one of the things for myself, even just taking out the dog trainer piece is like I physically like I can't like correct a dog. So I mean I can
Right.
use a gentle
Right.
leader. I can use a gentle leader with one hand. I
Well,
don't have to.
they're doing
But
a lot
they
with gentle
are,
leaders.
yeah, they are, and I don't know exactly when this is filmed, but I love the fact that they are using food. They're using
Oh,
marker,
they've always used food.
to like, yeah, but in a different way now, not in a more congruent way, I feel like.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I think I'm really happy to hear that, because for me that's an issue, because I know the other side of
Oh
things,
yeah.
so I like that. And but and you can train reliability with evidence-based methods, and also I
Right.
feel like, and this is just in general with any kind of being, if you have to like force a being to do something under the guise of you teaching, that being isn't really learning, so
Uh-huh.
you like always have to, like, an example with a dog is like people who tell their dogs to sit and they don't sit, and then they tell them to sit but they only sit because they're pushing down on their ass. you know
Yeah, yeah.
it's like your dog doesn't know how to sit, dude. Like,
I
so,
very rarely like even have to correct Bogo, but I
right,
mean there are, like
right.
he's so bad with food though. That's when I gotta like cuz and I could always tell when the leash goes down even if I'm not looking at him,
uh, you
So I'll
know
say that's when I'll correct him because
yeah,
he is a little intensive when it comes to that.
a little too
So
free with the food. Yes, yes.
yes, so
And it's also a safety thing.
yeah.
I think teaching dogs leave it is really important, and it's so easy to do.
Well,
um,
I think you should get a service dog because it will it'll help you not be as tired after the day too because
absolutely.
the dog will help you get things and you know and I mean like just not to be alone like you can not that you're alone but you know
No,
what
but
I mean.
understand that companionship, I think, is really cool to have, and also cool is like whatever word, but just like really important and critical for people to have that companionship, and um like I'm here with, I'm always around a dog, like Troy and I are
Yeah.
here all the time, you know what I mean? That's like but yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking of different things, service dogs, and actually kind of want to have a Malinois as a service dog. I want that
What
high
is
end
a
dog. A
Malamar?
Malinois is, they're like, the best way to describe them, they're from Belgium. They are mostly, you'll see them in the military.
Uh-huh.
Uh, they have a lot of high drive. They are just like um, intense dogs, working
W-
dogs, like
Would
100%.
you be able to train it if you got the
Yeah,
dog?
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I would, I
Yeah.
would, or her, him or her. I'd probably get a boy. To me, male dogs are a little bit more needy. Uh,
Really?
it's kind of been my experience, just being just in general dog owner. They just
Right.
are. I'm like, so weird. Like, all my female dogs have always been just a little bit more independent.
Right.
Like,
Well,
I don't be up
I
your ass.
that's another thing that they do with canine companions because a lot of people don't want needy dogs. Like they want a dog that's more independent, that doesn't have to check in with them all the time. But like I like it the other way. I like because to me, I think it makes my working life with the dog better. That
Yeah,
because he always wants to be around me and he needs that reassurance.
yeah. I feel like it's important, because otherwise it's just like, that disconnect between you and the dog is supposed to be there to help you and bond, and it's just like, you don't just want some servant off in the corner, laying on their dog bed, and you call
I
them and
know
need something,
I know I probably told you that. Like when I got Olson, I realized Rocky didn't like his job because whenever I went to somebody else's house or somebody came over, he'd be so excited, and like he never was that excited about me.
That's
So,
hilarious.
but that's like what I told, because they had told me when I was getting Olson, they had said that if Rocky had come through the ranks now, like when I was getting Olson, that
Yeah.
Rocky probably wouldn't have been approved because they learned so much more by the
Yeah.
time I got Olson.
Yeah. The mind of a dog is amazing.
Yeah.
No. Totally.
All right, I know you must be
Well,
exhausted.
I
Um,
am, but you can't. I mean, we're gonna end. All right, Barb. I mean, we covered so much information. Um,
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
yeah, I mean, I loved having you on, and we're gonna do this again because I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of feedback and questions. I'm having some little noise feedback right now. Sorry, everybody. I don't know what happened. Um, within the last, 30 seconds, but
Right,
um,
right.
yeah. Just want to thank you, and I want to thank everybody out there for listening. This is really valuable information that we are talking about with service dogs. And just, I love you guys. Keep listening, share, like, subscribe, get this information out to as many people as possible. And we'll see you next week. Bye. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.